Depuis plus de 20 ans, les démo-parties réunissent de quelques dizaines à quelques centaines de démo-makers pour célébrer l'art de la démo. Seule une poignée de ces grandes réunions sont mythiques. La Breakpoint en fait partie. La démo party, c'est l'endroit où les créateurs et fans de démos peuvent se rencontrer, partager leur passion, faire la fête et regarder leur toute dernière production.
Breakpoint is, the biggest demo scene only party. The scene is our family, and we don't want to do a LAN party for LAN gamers. And scene only parties are the best parties.
La Breakpoint 2008 réunissait environ 1000 personnes de toute l'Europe, malgré les conditions de confort plutôt spartiates. On mange sur le pouce, on dort sous les tables et il y a du bruit 24 heures sur 24. Alors pourquoi venir en démo party si les conditions y sont si difficiles?
Breakpoint is the main event for the demo scene nowadays because it's the highest concentration of real demo sceners. I mean, you can go to the gathering and have 5,000 people and 30 sceners, or to assembly and have 3,000 people and 100 sceners. But here you get 1,000. So if you want to meet people, to see your friends and to see the guy that did that particular release because you want to talk to him, like Breakpoint is the place for that.
This is the perfect family meeting without that obnoxious aunt you have that is telling you what to do, how to live your life. This is only the good people of your family meeting here.
It's a really encouraging atmosphere to make up stuff, and you can talk to people that actually know what the hell you're talking about and who can give you tips about what you want to do, and that's really nice to do.
We have this tremendous 70 square meters full HD screen, which you weren't able to find on any demo party so far. So that's our big one defining feature, and then the most important thing that you can find here that you won't be able to find at most other demo parties is basically everyone, because like most people are here, everyone is here, we're just having a good time.
You know people only from letters, from emails, maybe from internet chats, and these parties give you the opportunity to live in real life. And of course, then there are the competitions. The parties is the place where you release your demos, where you show your demos for the first time. When they're doing a competition here, every single demo is shown for the first time. The tension is very high to see how many demos will there be, how good will there be, will I win?
La Breakpoint est aussi le lieu où l'on peut assister à des concerts inédits. Dès le premier soir, c'est ainsi Réel qui jouait des remixes de musique Commodore 64 en live.
I started piano when I was a little young, but I think I was already very young when I already started making music on the Commodore 64. That's really where I composed and really learned the skill of composing. And I made music for games like Last Ninja 3 and Flimbo's Quest. And from 91, I think I bought an Amiga for like 3 months. And then I thought like, okay, this is with samples, but it doesn't really sound like professional. And then I kind of got away from the Amiga, and then I started to do real music. And at that time I also went to the conservatory, so I really focused more on studying and not so much on the 64 anymore. And then I think it was 98 when I just typed in my name on the internet, and then I said, what is that? For me, after 91, I thought, everybody threw their 64 away, and that was it. But it's still going as we speak. What I do now is like I produce records for artists, like, but in Holland, but also in France, where you come from. I did a production for Stefan Eischer, I think you know. And so that's now my job. I produce albums, I have my own studio. But I also do there's a radio station called Slay Radio. It's an internet radio station. And sometimes on a Sunday, I do a thing called Sunday Service. It's I live in a church, though it's like funny. And I do like the same thing what I did, that people can just request songs and I just play them in whatever style they want. It's like one big improvisation kind of thing.
Le samedi soir avait lieu un concert exceptionnel regroupant Xerxes, un des musiciens les plus connus de la scène tracker, et Romeo Knight, musicien mythique de la scène Amiga de la fin des années 80, qui faisait son grand comeback.
I still use a tracker for everything I do, which is a scene thing. I sort of dropped out of the demo scene for a while to do non-demo stuff, and recently got back with a group called Brainstorm.
Pour faire les choses en beauté, Xerxes et Romeo Knight étaient accompagnés de Bendik, un batteur norvégien surdoué de 16 ans.
He was, what, 13?
Yes, 13 or 14, and we played at the same festival in Horten, Norway.
And he was playing a drum solo, and I was like, I have to have him as my drummer. Because I've never seen anything or heard anything like him. So I sent him a mail and I sent him some music, and I got a mail back. He said, this is cool stuff, I want to play it. And after that we done some gigs. His drums and the guitars and stuff was all improvisation, and I did some special versions of songs to do live. Romeo Knight is a scene legend. You know, he was a legend in '88 when I started already. And we didn't meet until today, actually.
My real name is Eike. I'm known in the demo scene as Romeo Knight. I'm basically an old schooler, musician on Amiga. I was part of TRSI demo group. Today I'm here after 15 years absence in the demo scene. I was into hip hop a lot in those times, and that was the name of a vinyl by a band called Boogie Boys, a rap band, and they had an album that was called Romeo Knight. Whatever, I loved the album so much that I called myself Romeo Knight. When I started to explore heavy music, metal music in general, I started playing guitar myself, like autodidact, and then I got into studios, real studios, and so I had the second path where I could do music in a real studio, and I started doing my own tunes, of course, involving guitar, but also electronical, and Brainstorm. That's my new school. Demo group nowadays. They will release tomorrow the next demo with a soundtrack by me, and it's also a mixture of electronic and guitar sounds. That's what I'd call my own style. People ask me a lot about why don't you do tracker tunes, chip tunes or whatever. But the reason why I'm back into demo music is because I can use a real studio to have any possibility you can imagine to produce music, and I don't want to be stuck with 4 channels again. That time is over for me.
Depuis plusieurs années, la Breakpoint est aussi traditionnellement le lieu où se tient la remise de prix des Scene Awards, organisée par le site scene.org, qui est la plus grande archive mondiale de démos et qui héberge poète.net.
winner of the Best Demo Award for 2007 is Life Force by Andromeda Software Development.
I was really pleased to be here with all my friends in the group and get the awards. And it was a very tough year to have a demo and get an award, because there was also the demo from Farbrow's Debris, which was exceptional. So yeah, it was a mystery who was going to get it. I'm quite pleased that we got it, but I would be equally pleased if they got it, because they also deserved it a lot.
Mais alors, quels outils magiques utilise Navis pour réaliser les démos de ASD?
I use Visual Studio 2005, I think, for writing code in OpenGL, and I use CG for shaders. I don't use many tools. I don't use tools for scripting or anything. Our musicians use Reason, and the graphicians use a little bit of Maya and a bit of Blender and Photoshop. So a little bit of everything, but mainly it's the Visual Studio. I get an idea, then I start writing the code in parts. So I split the demo in parts and write one part second. And after a while, I work with the musicians and the artists, and we put together all the little details. So it's like building a house. At the beginning, it looks like just cement and there's nothing there. But eventually, it becomes more fine-tuned and more fine-tuned, and at the end, it looks like a proper house and proper depth.
Both Chaos and me are relatively bad at, let's say, the traditional way of demo making, which is mainly a lot of tweaking of code, and both Chaos and me don't really have a good feel for that. So we tried to make it possible for artists or graphicians and so on to do all the fine-tuning that we're not good at. So that's where the tool concept was born. So the tool is basically the interface between the systems architecture and programming part that we can do well, and finding just the right parameter stuff that we're not so good at. And tools allow us to kind of compensate that deficiency.
C'est essentiellement un gain de temps, puis ça permet de travailler en équipe tout simplement. Les démos sont faits avec plusieurs corps de métier, on a des graphistes, on a des musiciens, des programmeurs, et ça permet que chacun puisse faire son travail à sa manière et de tout mettre en commun plus tard, sans qu'on soit gêné ou qu'on se large dessus.
Le rôle du codeur est toujours essentiel, puisque sans codeur, point de démo, mais je dirais que le graphiste a repris un petit peu la main sur l'ensemble. Je me rappelle, il y a 15 ans maintenant, un petit peu moins, mais en gros, mon rôle se résumait à faire 2-3 images, et puis le codeur se chargeait de tout finalement. Et là, aujourd'hui, j'ai tout à faire. Le codeur me donne un tool, j'utilise déjà, je fais la 3D, c'est très, très différent. Il y a 15 ans, il n'y avait pas de 3D. Et aujourd'hui, je suis en pleine autonomie. Le codeur s'amuse, lui compile, fait les effets. Mais l'ensemble, la vision de A à Z, c'est moi qui l'a construit. On l'a construit bien évidemment en concertation avec les autres. Mais j'ai une pleine et entière autonomie sur le produit final.
Donc là, on est en train de sortir à la Breakpoint une grosse démo sur laquelle ça fait plusieurs même années qu'on travaille dessus. et qu'on avait reporté parce que c'était tellement énorme que c'était pas toujours possible de pouvoir la sortir aux démo parties, donc on en était même à démarrer des démos plus petites et plus faciles à terminer. Donc là, on s'est enfin botté les fesses et puis on y arrive, et donc on est content.
Ça, c'est une bonne question. Combien d'heures de travail ?
Faut pas compter en heures là.
Non, faut pas compter en heures. Je pense que si on est en temps plein, tout compris, si on additionne, ouais, je pense qu'on est en mois. On est plutôt en mois, ouais.
Je dirais bien 4.
4 mois, ouais.
À plein temps.
Ouais, 4 mois à plein temps, ce serait pas mal.
Ce qui fait que...
Mais ça veut dire tout jour homme, 4 mois homme.
Depuis quelques années, on peut observer qu'un réalisateur est souvent crédité dans les démos.
Il y a des démos de grands groupes qui ont cette approche-là, comme Débris de Farbroche, qui a une mise en scène excellente. Maintenant, il y a toujours eu des démos qui ont eu l'approche cinématographique, et c'est très difficile parce qu'il faut être super convaincant, et c'est malheureusement très facile de tomber dans le ridicule et dans le prétentieux.
We actually call it a director now, but I do think that editing demos and timing them and syncing them and positioning the camera properly and things like that, classical director things, I think that has been also around in the early years. It's just that it became more prominent nowadays because in the early years, when you had an effect, all you had to make sure is that the colors are right and it stays on the screen, short enough to make an impact. Nowadays, if you have more of a story thing, and more of a underlying design, and more of something that's really connected to the music, then you have to have someone who's the mastermind behind the whole thing and connects them in terms of pacing and frame use and all those classical director ideas and director techniques what are supposed to be used, especially in the case of Debris, for example, where you can actually have this handshaking camera motion and really sharp cuts and things like that, which are really necessary to make it a good demo. Otherwise it would be just a wasted opportunity.
Originally, demo scene was about showing technical skills, showing how good a programmer you are, showing that you can do something on a computer that nobody else ever did with that computer. But these days, many of the computers are faster and faster, and what became more and more important was to make something that's actually fun to watch. In my opinion, but this is a different opinion in the demo scene, a demo is not worth watching if it's not fun watching. You have to be able to show a demo to somebody who doesn't know much about technical issues, and he has to still be able to enjoy it. And if that person says, I think it's horribly ugly, then you have to take that as a very good advice and make it beautiful. And I think that directing part is, especially on lower end machines like a Game Boy, very essential, because you don't have a lot of resources to just make big 3D scenes or to make a lot of stuff going on the screen. So you're very limited. You can make very small little 3D models, for instance, or very simple effects. And to use that to still make something that is fun to watch is actually a very interesting challenge. And working with those sorts of limitations is kind of encouraging to do something different.
the old scene had group flames, group wars, and we found it funny and also motivating to have a group wars against Mad Current, because they were the leading group in the GBA scene before we did. And so when we went in, we said, okay, we have to show attitude and start fucking up with Mad Current.
We're actually pretty strong rivals. Shitface Clowns are mostly led by a Norwegian guy called Kuzma, or Led. He talks the most, and he thinks he makes very good demos, and well, they're pretty nice. He makes lots of what we consider cheats by making a very big data file so that he doesn't have to compute a lot of stuff when the demo actually runs. And we think that that's very lame. So we don't do those kinds of things. And we want to show the real strength of our code work in the demo. We have great plans to kick Shitface Clowns back off their throne, because we definitely are able to kick their asses.
Ça commence à donner le tournis là, à tel point qu'on peut se demander comment un débutant pourrait se lancer dans la création de démos à l'heure actuelle. Par où commencer ?
Le principal conseil, ce serait de venir ici, ce serait de venir en partie et de se dire, bon bah, de toute façon, je présente quelque chose, ça n'arrivera pas dans les premiers. Bon, aujourd'hui on a acquis une certaine notoriété, on fait des prods qui sont relativement rodés. Bon, ça fait 15 ans qu'on en fait, donc faut pas hésiter au début à se dire je ferai pas quelque chose d'exceptionnel, mais bon, je vais progresser petit à petit. Et puis surtout, essayer d'y prendre du plaisir.
In this process of nominating the winner of the Newcomer Award, we have this independent jury that comes up with a lot of people that would be worthy to receive the Newcomer Award. Every year we had more than one, more than two, more than three newcomers that would have been worthy to receive the prize. I'm still surprised by it, how many newcomers there really are, and that they just slip through my own perception. I don't recognize it.
This is a microcontroller. Here's the microcontroller, here's the display signal on a standard VGA connector, and this is where the sound comes out. So let's plug it in and see what we can get out of it.
the moment I'm programming some IFS fractals for a C64 demo. We calculate the data on the PC and transfer them to the C64 to show them in real time or in some kind of real time on C64. We plot it in real time, but it's calculated on the PC. It's just a matter because it's a fast compo, and we're not able to do a IFS fractal on C64 in real time in 2 hours now. And yes, this is my machine. It's built a long time ago. Maybe it's around 12 years old. And just all the stuff I needed to do to program, I turned into this machine. There are several light diodes and switches which help me programming. This one is just to switch between the PAL and the NTSC scheme. And there are some special keys like the reset for floppy device or for the computer itself. I added an LCD screen on the C64 so you can see your effects on the small screen, because if you sit in front and coding on the big screen on a monitor, you don't see your own effects too good. You just see some blocks and some weird colors, but not the effect itself. Maybe some rotating picture where you just see blocks, and on the big screen on the compo you see the real nice picture, but on your own C64 you have to go away to see something.
Beaucoup de groupes continuent ou recommencent à se donner des limites techniques en faisant des démos pour des machines comme la Game Boy Advance, l'Amiga ou même des plateformes complètement exotiques et très limitées. À tel point qu'on peut se demander s'il y a encore un challenge à faire une démo sur PC.
There is a challenge, a big challenge, but nobody's up to it. Most of the demos, no matter how great they are, still use only a fraction of the possibilities. When you had something like an Amiga that didn't change for 7 years, or a Commodore 64, which is still in use, which didn't change for 25 years, you have a barrier to break, and the coders are, after this long time, they are up to the hardware, they know every little bit. But with new PCs coming out every 6 months, the demo scene is running behind, because the hardware changes faster than we can learn to master it.
Techniquement, on pourrait aller plus loin, mais c'est essentiellement dû à un manque de temps. Parce qu'on voit que pour les jeux vidéo, par exemple, on parle d'équipes de 50 à 200 développeurs. Pour une démo, on ne peut pas se permettre ça, c'est certain. Donc on se réfugie plutôt du côté du design et du rythme, plutôt que du côté de la technologie actuellement.
Not even the big game studios, which have large teams of programmers, really are capable to going to the edge of what is possible. If you look at console games, PlayStation 3 or Xbox, where you have the same 3D hardware for, let's say, 7 years, like PlayStation 2 was in there almost that long, then you see that the first games those people create are very crude. They don't go to the full extent of what is possible on, let's say, a PlayStation 3. And only after a few years, people really tap the full potential of the hardware. This is like the C64, this is like the Amiga, a fixed platform, and you can adapt yourself to the platform, learn about it, and exploit it. On PC, everything changes every 6 months. You can't get to the limit, you're just too slow.
Et pourtant, Sony a commandé une démo technique pour la PlayStation 3 au groupe polonais Plastic. Une démo qui a beaucoup impressionné et qui sera disponible très bientôt sur le PlayStation Network. Et oui, car les démo makers ne font pas que des démos dans la vraie vie. Des jeux comme God of War, Hitman, Assassin's Creed ou Little Big Planet, pour ne citer que ces 4-là, ont été créés par des démo makers.
Oui, moi je travaille dans le jeu vidéo depuis à peu près une dizaine d'années également. Et c'est grâce à la démo d'ailleurs que je trouve mon premier boulot. Et je passe ma journée en fait dans un département R&D à faire des moteurs pour diverses plateformes sur PlayStation 3, PC, Xbox. Il y a plein de vieux scénars des années 90. Et je dirais c'est un tiers de démo makers pour 2 tiers de développeurs normaux, on va dire.
I'm a game programmer. How could you guess? Many people who have been in the demo scene have coding skills which are really rare. If you look at programmers who come from universities, they lack certain abilities like C++ is very rarely taught today, but it is essential for many kinds of programming.
Mais alors, pourquoi continuer à faire des démos?
I have no idea. I like it. It's just I have an idea. I like making visual art, making movies. Basically, stuff that you can play and then you see something and you hear something, something like that.
You look beat now, man suggest you take a rest.
The people, when they listen to music, they think of pictures in their heads. I think the really good music brings that out of people. And what I feel is that when I hear a music and I manage to interpret it visually properly, then it's a really good thing, because if it connects properly, if it's one single unit of music and visuals, then it's an enjoyable show for the rest of the people. It's kind of like music videos in a way, except we're not selling a product. So it's a really cathartic feeling to be able to have a musical idea, jot it down.
If you use software like 3D Studio or After Effects or animation software, or if you just film something, filming is different, but like if you use this kind of software, then I feel that you're limited by the software. You have to do the kinds of effects that are built in After Effects by Adobe, and if they didn't build that kind of effect in there, then either you have to do lots of difficult tricks to get what you want anyway, or you just can't do it. However, if you program everything, if you are the complete programmer of your demo, of your little movie, then you can decide how everything comes to look. And there's only 2 limitations, and that's the speed of your computer, which is a very fun limitation to work with because it automatically makes you very creative, and it is the limit of your own imagination.
I'm not thinking about the future with demo parties. I just go there because I'm used to go there. I did it for the last 20 years, and I hope I can do it for the next 20 years as well.